July 1974. The black clouds of a possible military confrontation were gathering over the Mediterranean Sea. Through a rebellion, the president of Cyprus, Archbishop Macarius, was ousted from power and the island was invaded by Turkish troops. All countries in the Mediterranean and Black Sea region, through the alliances of the two existing military blocs at that time, NATO and the Warsaw Pact, were on high alert. It is understood that, in such a context, the airspace and maritime space in the area, as well as the neighboring areas, were monitored by all means, including radioelectronic, recording any suspicious movement. Due to the tension created, air and maritime traffic was severely disrupted. But, even in this tragic situation, something else seemed to be happening, this time something strange. We highlighted the context in which the event took place to show the certainty of the observed phenomenon, given the magnitude of the measures taken on this occasion by all the states in the area, at a time when no one could afford to joke. July 24, 2:15 a.m. On the screen of a radar on the Romanian coast of the Black Sea, a signal from an unidentified aircraft appears. Its presence is confirmed by another radar installation located at a different position, working on a different frequency. Although errors were ruled out, later, a third radar certifies the existence of the presumed aircraft. Minutes pass, and the strange presence, which did not follow any flight path, did not identify itself, and maneuvered on a very sinuous trajectory, with great variations in altitude and speed, managed to alarm those who were vigilant about the safety of unknown air corridors. Contact was made with ships at sea, closer to the area where the unidentified object was maneuvering. The presence of the UFO was confirmed by two vessels of the Navy, on certain segments of the trajectory. When the object entered the technical capabilities of the onboard equipment, the ships also confirm its evolution, without being able to determine its nature. Through cooperation with neighboring armies, it was confirmed that Russian and Bulgarian radars tracked the strange aircraft for a period of time, after which some gave up, the Russians considering it to be a harmless drifting balloon, while others claimed it was a Russian anti-submarine warfare aircraft, launched from one of the carrier ships at sea, possibly from Kinda-class anti-submarine warfare ships, which had Kamov helicopters on board, as well as fighter aircrafts. The UFO's evolution was tracked for 37 minutes within the confirmed altitude limits of 5,000 to 15,000 meters and with speeds ranging from 0 km per hour, stationary at a fixed point, to approximately 4,000 km per hour. The presumed UFO disappeared somewhere very close to the area where the last sighting occurred, indicating an altitude of 6,000 meters and a speed of 970 kilometers per hour. During the observation period, no aircraft were in danger, no anomalies were reported in radar wave propagation, and no one claimed any aerial incidents in the area where the strange phenomenon was observed. Later, some sailors on ships at sea reported the evolution of a strange star for the date and time in question, which they followed for minutes, making all sorts of acrobatics, culminating in a powerful explosion, full to abundance of light and color, a true fireworks display, according to what the sailors will say. Coincidence or not, they will also tell that during that period they had almost no radio reception due to strong interference attributed to radio jamming, but strangely, they only manifested in the area overflown by the UFO, as it will be found later in the analysis of the incident. In 1994, in the Romanian city of Timișoara, at Eurocon, a Bulgarian UFO researcher will report a UFO incident, which coincides in date and zoning with the one presented above, claiming that a military ship of the former USSR shot down with an anti-aircraft missile a UFO discovered and reported by Romanian radar operators above the Black Sea, in international waters. There are many legends and myths about the Black Sea. Being one of the most navigated inland seas since ancient times, it has been the scene of many strange events, which still fascinate scientific and historical investigations today. But beyond the fables, there persists an enigma that even the bravest sailors regard with great respect: the Black Sea's Death Whirlpool, or the Death Triangle, near the Danube Delta. What is this about? Here's a brief story of this remarkably strange place. In the Black Sea, in the immediate vicinity of Snake Island, lies a mysterious Bermuda Triangle of the Black Sea. The Snake Island is located 45 kilometers northwest of Romanian territory, and it's the notorious island where Ukrainian army defied the Russian naval forces, telling them to go F themselves. Although the area has been known since the Middle Ages, few have heard of this triangle, nicknamed the Death Triangle, which travels through the waters of the Black Sea. The Turks were the first to report on this strange area, which they called the Whirlpool of Death. Countless stories recounted surprising disappearances in the relatively calm waters, even in broad daylight. Also surprising are some Russian stories from the 12th and 14th centuries, which describe a white whirlpool dragging birds, ships, and even small islands to the bottom of the sea. The reports were made by people who were present and barely escaped from these whirlpools. Studying this phenomenon carefully, researchers concluded that it involves an approximately 10 square kilometers area, relatively triangular, in which manifests a strange form of magnetism, greatly modified from what is detected as normal. Russian and Ukrainian researchers claim that the magnetic fault in the mysterious mobile triangle in the Black Sea opens from a fraction of a second to several minutes. This magnetic anomaly moves slowly through the Black Sea area, and currently, it is moving towards the Romanian coast, more precisely towards Salina. More complete data on other mysterious disappearances emerged after the dissolution of the former Soviet Union, as some fiercely guarded secrets came to light. For example, from the top-secret files of the Red Army, we learn about the disappearance, on May 31, 1944, of the cruiser Tylkovsloy, 70 kilometers offshore south of Crimea, in broad daylight. Although the weather was excellent, the captain of the neighboring ship tells that the cruiser was suddenly enveloped by a black mist with green glimmers, after which it simply disappeared from the radar screens. Just 2 months later, another disappearance occurred. 5 military reconnaissance planes entered the black mist with green glimmers, disappeared from the radar screens tracking them, and never returned. On December 5, 1945, 5 American Grumman TBM-3 Avenger bombers disappeared into the darkness of the Death Triangle. A very strange thing, however, but much discussed at that time, was the disappearance of 5 Russian bombers on the same day within the Death Triangle near Crimea, only 70 kilometers from the shore. The Soviet research expedition unleashed after the official announcement of the disappearance of the bombers failed to find any traces. Some sources say that the last transmissions of the airplanes reported a thick fog from which they couldn't escape. Just like in the reports of American planes from the Bermuda Triangle. Being in peacetime, there was no enemy base nearby at that time, so the Russian officers believed it was an accident, but there should have been at least some physical traces left from it. Another mysterious disappearance occurred much more recently, in 1990, when a small Greek aircraft disappeared only 30 kilometers from the Romanian coast. Romanian and Bulgarian fishermen from the coastal area had long been avoiding that region, as there were various legends and superstitions that it was accursed water. Greek press in Athens drew attention to the fact that being a private plane, the pilot did not know the detour route that was signaled to official planes, but emphasized that it is necessary for Romanian authorities to clearly specify the coordinates of this form, to avoid other tragic disappearances. However, their frequency is low, especially because it is a relatively less frequented and generally avoided area. Russian officials, however, have a different opinion, arguing that these magnetic anomalies have a worrying frequency of 1 every 2 days. And here is emitted the hypothesis that these anomalies could be gateways to parallel worlds, which open only at certain moments. One of the most surprising disappearances, which occurred not too long ago, in 1991, is that of 80 people who were working on a Russian offshore oil extraction platform. The platform was connected by radio station to the shore base, with which a daily communication protocol was established. One day, without any SOS, the platform remained silent to all attempts to establish contact. After a few hours, the base alerted the Coast Guard, a military squadron conducted reconnaissance, and the platform was discovered and recovered 50 kilometers away from the initial location, adrift, with no signs of life on board and no clue to clarify the mystery of the disappearance of the technical team. The platform looked as if the 80 people had abandoned it in a hurry, without taking any luggage, clothes, or personal belongings, without cleaning or tidying up, for example, the tables where they ate. At present, the Russian and Ukrainian navies are studying with great attention this slowly moving magnetic fault from their area towards Romanian territorial waters. Then, studying it and the responsibilities arising from these studies will fall back on Romanian authorities. Furthermore, underwater archaeologists have found a phantom aircraft from the time of the fascists there, which for a long time was considered lost. People were able to be identified due to personal belongings found on board, but the cause of the catastrophe remains a mystery to this day. Beyond myths and legends, the existence of this extremely rare marine phenomenon can no longer be concealed by anyone, due to the numerous human victims it has claimed. As we conclude our exploration of the Black Sea's mysteries, the puzzle of the UFO sighting remains unresolved, leaving us pondering the possibilities of extraterrestrial encounters in these ancient waters. Meanwhile, the sinister reputation of the Black Sea's Triangle of Death continues to captivate our imagination, hinting at hidden forces beyond our comprehension. Don't forget to share your thoughts on this fascinating subject in the comments below and subscribe to stay updated on our latest investigations and, as we remind you every time, don't forget to look up.